Getting this breaking news that the U.S. President Joe Biden is in Ukraine for a surprise visit. We're going to go now live to Kyiv with France 24's Gulliver Cragg. Gulliver, what more can you tell us?
Well, yes, it's been confirmed finally, and it seems that there was quite a lot of deceit involved in trying to keep this visit by the US president under wraps, although it was very strongly rumored in Kyiv since yesterday that he was on his way. There were videos of motorcades this morning that I think aren't actually have been his. There was talk that he had arrived by plane. It appears, in fact, he arrived by train. He was said to have left a dinner in Washington, apparently last night, which would have meant that he wouldn't have been able to be here on time. Clearly, the United States and the Ukrainians wanted to keep this visit under wraps for security reasons. And I think it's likely that any declarations and video of Joe Biden in Kyiv will only emerge after he's left. I mean, that's what normally happens with the most high-level visitors that come to Kyiv. But we'll see whether or not the same protocol is followed today now that the cat's out of the bag. Of course, the Ukrainians have got very high expectations and will be seeing this visit as a very, very strong symbol of the United States' commitment to Ukraine. 80-year-old Joe Biden making this very long, difficult and dangerous journey, clearly wanting to send a very strong sign. Of course, what the Ukrainians most want, they're always going on about this, is a promise of F-16 fighter jets. But even if those are promised, they would only be in many months' time that Ukrainian pilots would be able to use them. What the Ukrainians need much more urgently is more ammunition for the ongoing battles with Russia, which appears to have already started its offensive this year. And for Ukraine, of course, if it manages to defend successfully against those Russian offensives, as it seems to be doing for the time being, for Ukraine to launch its own counteroffensives in a few weeks' time.
Gulliver, we are coming up on the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. How big, how important has U.S. involvement been in Ukraine's participation in this war since the beginning?
It's quite hard to overstate it, really. I can't remember the exact figures, but many, many times over, the United States is the biggest supplier of defense assistance, of weapons to Ukraine. I think either Germany or the UK come in second, but a very, very distant second. Without United States weapons, this would be a very, very different war. Everyone in Ukraine is very much aware of that. Financial assistance to Ukraine is a bit more on the EU side that it's coming in, but I think the Ukrainians would be first to say that it's the defense assistance that is most crucial. So yes, of course, US support is absolutely pivotal in this war.
Gulliver, this surprise visit of U.S. President Joe Biden comes just as the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who is on a trip to Turkey, accused China of considering arming Russia. Do you think the two things are related in any way? Could the U.S. be trying to step up its support of Ukraine because it is afraid that perhaps China might be getting involved on the Russian side?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe a bit of a chicken or an egg question. Are the Chinese thinking of getting involved because they're seeing that the US and other Western allies are stepping up their assistance, or is it the other way around? But certainly that those two things are happening concomitantly, and one wonders what China's intentions are. I mean, so far, China has wanted to be basically staying out of this. They recently proposed perhaps to put forward a peace plan, but they were definitely steering clear of arming Russia, at least not openly. I think not wanting to be seen as a global pariah, because clearly this invasion is a violation of international law. It's an unprovoked attack on a sovereign country with the aim of making territorial gains or of taking over the whole of the country. It's completely unacceptable in the eyes of international law. And I think it's not something that China wants to sign up to or is likely to want to sign up to in the future either. But does that mean that the Chinese are going to be happy to see the kind of results that Volodymyr Zelenskiy was outlining as his hopes when he made that very well-received speech in London recently, where he was saying that Ukraine's victory will be a victory for democracy, for the international order, for basically all the things that the US kind of represents? I mean, I think that China might be thinking that, well, they don't want to sign up to supporting this invasion by Russia for all the reasons I said, but do they want to see the United States and the Western allies have such a big win for democracy as Zelensky seemed to be painting a picture of? Perhaps they want to, perhaps their attitude is rather different, and it's definitely something to watch.
All right, Gulliver, thanks so much for that. And we are getting the first comments from Joe Biden out of that surprise visit where he said 1 year later, Kyiv stands and Ukraine stands, democracy stands. Gulliver Cragg in Kyiv, thanks so much.